Hi everybody, this is Dr. Harry, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about sleep. Did you know that it is estimated that we spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping? What could be so important about sleep that we have to spend 1/3 of our lives in order to get some rest? Well, here's what research is telling us. Research is telling us that lack of sleep or sleep deprivation can be associated with several things. Not only does it make us tired the next day, where we start making poor choices and not thinking clearly, but it seems like lack of sleep can contribute to anxiety, it can contribute to depression, it can contribute to weight gain, and it can actually contribute to increasing our risk of chronic illnesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure, and even heart disease. So it seems that the body takes 1/3 of our lives in order to ensure that the other 2/3 of our lives go really, really, really well. So how do we start improving on our sleep quality? Well, there are a few things that we need to do. So I'm going to list about 4 or 5 things. That is not all, but within the 3 minutes that we have, we want to talk about 4 or 5 things. The first thing that we need to do is recognize that the body loves patterns. The body loves preparation, and routine. So one of the things that we can start doing is establishing a sleep routine. What that does, it says to the body, hey, it is time that we start unwinding and getting ready for the process of sleep. When the body recognizes routine, it falls into place more readily. And so the body has to go through a prep process, and it starts creating that sleep hormone, and it starts calming down our sympathetic system and putting our other system in place, our parasympathetic system, so that we can then relax and naturally fall asleep. So that would involve removing things that stimulate us. And things that stimulate us would be things like caffeine, potentially. For those of us who are caffeine sensitive, it's really important that we consider not taking any caffeine beverages after about 2 p.m. because that could potentially keep us up. The other thing that could be potentially stimulatory is alcohol. Believe it or not, alcohol might make us feel like we fall asleep more easily, but in reality, what we experience with that is interrupted sleep. We tend to stay more into light sleep, and we don't seem to get to the deep sleep that's really important to rinse the brain out and give us that restorative sleep. The other thing that we can do, believe it or not, is during the day, get good exposure to sunlight early in the morning. And so what that might start doing is resetting our circadian rhythm. That rhythm or natural body clock that says it's time to wake up and it's time to go to sleep. So ultimately, what that body clock does is that it allows for the body to start generating chemicals that wake us up. And this is where stress hormone comes into play, like cortisol, a little bit of adrenaline to wake us up. And then as we get ready for bed, then there's a flipping over and our sleep hormone comes up and the stress hormone goes down. So sunlight during the beginning of day could actually start setting up that rhythm. The other thing that sunlight can do that's really important is to help generate the neurotransmitter serotonin. That's usually referred to as our happy neurotransmitter. And that neurotransmitter helps our body to make the sleep hormone that helps us to sleep. So there's a little bit of a connection with that. Interestingly, the third thing, it turns out that it might be really important what we eat. Because certain foods, recent research suggested that certain foods that supply a specific food for the good bacteria in our gut, specific fibers for the good bacteria, called prebiotics, may actually help us to sleep better. And so it's important that what we eat is important. And it's also been shown that certain foods, such as high sugar foods, tend to keep us up. The other thing that might be really important, believe it or not, is exercise. Exercise earlier in the day can help us to sleep. Relaxation exercises such as stretching later in the afternoon may help us to sleep as well. So, these are